You're listening to BioTalk with Rich Bendis, the only podcast focused on the BioHealth Capital Region. Each episode, we'll talk to leaders in the industry to break down the biggest topics happening today in biohealth.
Hi, this is Rich Bendis, host of BioTalk. We had the opportunity on April 23rd and 24th at the 4th Annual BioHealth Capital Region Forum at MedImmune to interview leaders within the region. Uniquely, they were members of academia, industry, and the federal government, which are all critical partners to helping our region grow. Please enjoy these interviews with these partners that will help the BioHealth Capital Region become a top 3 by 2023. I'm with Jim Jackson, who is the Senior Vice President and Chief Scientific Officer for Emergent BioSolutions. Jim, welcome to BioTalk.
Thank you for having me, Rich. It's glad to be here.
You're welcome. I know that we're both at the 4th Annual BioHealth Capital Region Forum. You just finished a panel discussion with Chief Scientific Officers. Tell us a little bit about what was discussed.
Oh, I think it was a good panel discussion. We had a good group of panelists there that spanned the industry from small startup biotech to large companies to mid-sized companies like Emergent. I think the audience got some good insights as to, the roles and how roles are different at different size companies and what the emphases are and how that role evolves as companies grow.
Explain your role at Emergent as a CSO.
Great question. My role really is focused on scientific and technical leadership, also in bringing my experience of now going on 40 years in the science, pharmaceutical, chemical industry to bear to bring value to the company. My experience has spanned from large companies, Fortune 100, actually at one point in time, I worked for a Fortune 1 company, as well as being a research leader at more traditional hand-to-mouth biotech. And I've been with Emergent for the last 15 years. Experience, leadership, direction is really what the core fundamentals are for the position.
And within 15 years, I bet you the portfolio and the science focus for Emergent has changed dramatically. So give us a little bit about that evolution over the 15 years, as when you started and where you are today in your portfolio.
That's a great question, and we've had somewhat of a unique history in that regard. The company got started right at 20 years ago, and our founder, who became the CEO and who is now our executive chairman, actually was really innovative in how he wanted to start Emergent. And as a young, small company, most business directions are to rely on technology and take it to a point where you get value and you can get some sort of revenue stream mainly driven by capital investment. What our founder did was actually build a biotech company in reverse. And we started out with a revenue-generating product and put that together with a savvy and disciplined business and financial philosophy to actually drive not only revenue but profits that we could use to drive growth with, either in terms of spending on our own R&D or through acquisitions. And we've taken a couple of different terms along that path over the last 20 years. At one point in time, as recently as about 2-3 years ago, we were organized into a divisional structure where we had one division that was focusing on biodefense applications and developing countermeasure products for the government, getting those licensed and ultimately providing them through our own manufacturing capabilities. On the other side is we also had what we called a biosciences division that was much more traditional biotech. We were using the profits from the former to drive the latter in a way where we could try and build R&D value without having to go to capital markets and dilute our equity. Several years ago, we actually made a foray into the immuno-oncology space. We got to a point where we had a number of different assets into the clinic, and it was starting to get to a point where we felt that those set of assets would actually be best suited as a standalone company. We spun it out, and now we have refocused our business on this CBNRE, emerging infectious disease area, and leveraging our core strengths in manufacturing, government contracting to help the government develop new preparedness and emergency use products.
And then you also have multiple locations around the United States. I think Seattle, Grand Rapids, Baltimore, Montgomery County. How do you as a CSO interact with all those different locations, and is there research and development or some type of science activity going on in all 4 of those locations?
Well, a year ago, we reorganized the company into a business unit-based structure. And each of our business units are based on a particular product type. We have a vaccines and anti-infective business unit, which is really kind of the core biodefense division that we had left over from the spin-out days. But we also have a antibody therapeutics business unit that's located in Winnipeg. We've got a new devices group that's based out of our Gaithersburg headquarter facility. And we're also leveraging our manufacturing capabilities from 7 different manufacturing sites that we have now into a business unit around commercial development and manufacturing.
Well, you've been a great growth story for the BioHealth Capital Region, and I know there's a great commitment by the senior management team to this region. What do you project the future of Emergent to look like over the next 5 years?
I think we are going to maintain our focus in this government partnering CBNRE area, but we are also working to expand beyond just being a government partner. We want to develop products for broader customers than what we have in the space, and that's a critical component to our growth trajectory. And some of these business units that we put into place are aimed to do just that. Take the devices, for example, as we've got 2 products now that are in the chemical decontamination space. One is a surface decontamination product. The other is an auto-injector for antidotes. Is we see great value and potential in that business unit, not only to continue to provide products for our main historical customer, but also more traditional commercial customers as well.
We're talking with Jim Jackson, the Chief Scientific Officer for Emergent BioSolutions. And Jim, as we close this brief interview, what would you like the listeners to know about Emergent that might not be real apparent to people in the community?
I think Emergent is underappreciated in the sense of our mission. We're not a classic biotech company. We're not a big pharma company. We're really there to support the needs of the government so that they can be prepared to deal with emergencies, either natural or intentional release. And I think that goes unnoticed in a broader community because we are kind of below the radar. Is our products, quite frankly, some of which we hope to goodness we never have to use, but if they are needed, they're going to be available. They're going to be developed to the highest level of quality that they can be. They're going to be safe, effective, and they're going to provide the benefit that the government wants to provide it under those emergency conditions.
Well, I feel safer now that I know you're there to protect me, Jim.
That is our core mission.
Right. And I want to thank you for the support that Emergent has given to BioHealth Innovation as a strong partner. And as you know, Dan Abdenabi is a board member and our vice chairman of our board. So we feel joined at the hip with what your goals
Excellent,
are
yes.
and what we can do together in helping grow both Emergent as well as what you're going to do to help grow the BioHealth Capital Region.
Thank you, Rich.
So thank you for appearing on BioTalk, Jim.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
I'm here with Jim Hughes, who is the Vice President and Chief Enterprise and Economic Development Officer in the Office of Research and Development at the University of Maryland, Baltimore. Jim, welcome to BioTalk.
Rich, very excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the 4th year of the forum, and you've had a chance to be at them all.
I have.
What do you think about this year? What's going on in the ecosystem? What would you like to tell us about the exciting things happening at the University of Maryland?
It was great the first year you did it, and it keeps getting better each and every year. It's also a wonderful opportunity to check in on the community and look at all the developments that have happened, all the very tangible fundraising that's been done by companies, biotech companies in the area. And it's just incredible movement. So very exciting. You announced today that we'd moved up in the rankings from 6 to 5. That's terrific, and we'll keep going.
And we have a serial entrepreneur in the making, I guess, from the University of Maryland, Baltimore, who was on one of the panels,
Yes.
Edward Davila.
Yes. Actually, we have a couple. Eduardo Davila started a company just about 2 years ago, and we had a very quick exit. And we're thrilled that was to a Maryland company, so the technology is staying. It moved from Baltimore to Montgomery County, but staying very much in Maryland and getting a big boost in investment. It's CAR T technology, cancer immunology. Very excited about it and off to a great start. And as soon as that company got acquired, Eduardo said, I've got another idea that I think's even better. Let's do another. So we're off and running with that one.
And I think that's Trampoline, right?
Trampoline, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, and the other thing is you talked about funds and new investments in the region. And tell the listeners a little bit about the Momentum Fund, which is a new creation within the University System of Maryland.
Yeah. Well, we actually started investing as UMB in companies about 3 or 4 years ago. And the very first investment we made was in a medical device company, Harpoon, which was acquired in December of last year for $250 million. So that was
a nice round number.
Yeah, nice round number. And it was a very nice place to start as far as an investment to get that kind of exit. And we've invested UMB in 5 companies over the past few years, and Living Pharma, Eduardo's company, was one of those. And we had a pretty good track record, and the University System of Maryland said, let's build off that success and create a $25 million fund. $10 million of it is from the Board of Regents from the university system, and then we're getting another 15 matched by private investors. And we started just about 12 months ago. And we've already invested in 3 companies, and we're about to invest in 2 more. So I expect we'll invest about $2 to $3 million of our money this year, and that's being matched by about $6 or $7 million of external money.
Well, it's great to see that the Board of Trustees believes in you and what the accomplishments are, but we couldn't have talked about these kind of things 3 or 4 years ago within this region.
No, just not at all. I think the universities, we've been talking about tech transfer and doing more with industry for a while. We were doing it with all great sincerity, but it was really over the last 3 years or so that we've really been able to put these type of resources into it.
So I'm speaking with Jim Hughes with University of Maryland, Baltimore. Jim, what do you see as the next exciting things on the horizon for the activities that you're involved with over the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, certainly growth of the Momentum Fund. We want to move that from what it currently is into a much bigger fund. And as we have some successes, I think we're going to see that. We're also growing in Baltimore, the University of Maryland Biopark. We currently have 6 buildings, and I expect in the next 2 years we're going to have 2 more buildings underway. So it looks like some great things happening at UMB in Baltimore, also in Montgomery County and throughout the state.
And collaboration is one of the themes of this meeting for the 4th Annual BioHealth Capital Region. Tell me a little bit about collaboration you have with College Park as well as your partner, Johns Hopkins.
We have formed a very close partnership with College Park and have gotten support from the state to do that. So in many respects, we're acting as a single university and focusing particularly on research areas where we bring the best of both universities. So certainly areas like bioengineering, health informatics. We have a joint School of Public Health. We've also launched a joint sports medicine program. Also looking at our law school has brought their expertise, particularly in intellectual property law, to College Park companies, and the Smith School of Business at College Park is helping to advise UMB companies. We are working much more closely with Johns Hopkins, both in research areas and pursuing large federal grants together in very close collaboration. We have also launched a series of initiatives related to tech transfer and economic development. We, working with BHI, have launched several technology accelerators in Baltimore City. This past year, we had a health informatics accelerator, and a great group of companies came through that, one of which is now located in our biopark, Be Well. We have also launched with TEDCO support, something called Anchor Ventures, which has been very successful. We've now had 3 large meetings once a month. First meeting, we had Steve Case in talking about his venture capital activities and a couple hundred people. It's helping to bring the greater Baltimore community much closer together.
It's encouraging to see that because, we all live in a world of silos and academic institutions have their own. What it appears is happening, they're starting to be broken down. People understand if you put 1 + 1 together, you're going to get 3, and that's what we're starting to see within the whole BioHealth Capital region.
Absolutely. And then the other aspect of it is also reaching out to industry. So we've been working closely with MedImmune over the past 5 years, and we have 2 exciting projects that they've been funding and collaborating with us, one focusing on stem cell technology for cardiac surgery, and then the other is a very exciting vaccine adjuvant that we're working on jointly with MedImmune. And then in the fall of 2017, United Therapeutics teamed with us. They provided us a $24 million grant to create a new center focused on xenotransplantation. So we're certainly collaborate with companies all around the world, but focusing on companies right here in Maryland.
Well, that's encouraging. That's another thing we wouldn't have seen to the degree we're seeing it several years ago within the region. But MedImmune, what will we do without them for what they have contributed to help build this ecosystem? And then when you talk about your relationship with United Therapeutics, you have one of the greatest entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs in the world with Martine Rothblatt that's partnering with you. I think that the visibility in working with those 2 will also be great for the university and the region.
Yes, absolutely. We've learned so much from both MedImmune and United Therapeutics. While their money is certainly great, they're bringing tremendous expertise and, more than that, urgency. Really a great deal of really driving technologies forward, getting them to the market.
Last words here. Even though we're making progress, there's always room for improvement. Where do you think the greatest areas are that we need to improve within the region to support your activities and the entrepreneurs, scientists, and researchers that we have to support?
Well, we've created new sources of venture capital funding, but it still pales in comparison to the top places around the country. So bringing in more money certainly helps. And these 2 are closely connected. The other is having more experienced serial CEOs who can lead our companies. And when you have a great CEO, they're particularly good at attracting money. But also when you have money in the neighborhood, that tends to attract CEOs. So I think those 2 feed off each other very positively.
Great. I think it's a great formula that we all should build upon. And I want to thank you for this little brief interview. We'll do a deep dive later in the year when you have more successes to tell the listeners on BioTalk about. But we've been visiting with Jim Hughes, Vice President and Chief Enterprise and Economic Development Officer in the Office of Research Development at the University of Maryland, Baltimore. Jim, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you for listening to this edition of BioTalk. Please join us again with a new episode featuring a new leader in the BioHealth Capital Region.
Thanks for listening to BioTalk with Rich Bendis.